Tony! What's your name? Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you!
Had to switch up on the flow, gotta keep them on their toes. I move quick, I make the most, while they copy what I wrote. Follow everything I post, never trip about a clone, cause they know what's a sheep to a goat. Yeah. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise they ain't make it then. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes-Benz. Whoa, hey, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends. My biggest fear is finding out that this came and went. So go ahead, but I'm staying in.
I've been waiting for this. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this. What's up?
Motherfucker, I hate this motherfucker.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita!
No, I'm hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
The laws of physics do not exist on my charcoal grill.
But what's the weirdest thing you've ever killed and ate?
Siamese twins.
Siamese. What did you say? Siamese twins.
But my agent said I may need to get a lawyer after that comment.
Oh God, I just got what you were saying. That's not what I meant. Oh man, that is just off the wall bad. We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right. I have a feel we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is back.
Play football. What's up?
Well, I just want to say, are...
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just sold Jerry Joe. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. You're number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit you were wrong.
In the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. A lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go?
Hey, you're getting too deep into this. Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird. If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE All-Star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ass. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7. And it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
And they're playing with sticks. And they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks. Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts. You're almost gonna laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
All right. Yes, you're behind. Better tell somebody. Well, welcome. Yes, I am flying solo tonight because the remix is not feeling well. He is, I guess his stomach has remixed something that wasn't supposed to be remixed. And in danger of giving a little TMI, that's as far as I'm going to go. He is not feeling well. So, you got me tonight? How privileged and wonderful is that to have me tonight all to yourself? All right, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. I am the original Eddie Schedule, and we've got a lot on the docket. We will probably make the full hour and go a little past the hour because I've got a lot of things to talk about. We've got Cowboys, we've got the NFL, we have got, oh yes, the WNBA. I'm going to talk about it. So bear with me on that because there is a team that I'm calling America's team in the WNBA. And that is that. And we're going to talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. Some teams are not looking good to make the wild card. Houston, we have a problem. So we'll talk a little bit about that also. College football, big games coming up this weekend. And I got a little bit of my, there's going to be a sports pet peeve because of what the NFL is doing again. And then I have a little making of your most moment, and then I may actually have a whiskey of the week, even though the remix is not here to talk about that. But we always get started with the joke because I know someone is out there waiting for that joke to come along and make them laugh. Now, my joke today is a little bit about philosophy or philosophication or something that I'm making up the word. I'm not sure. But just remember this in life. If you're on a horse riding at full gallop, you look over and next to you, there's a giraffe at full gallop. You look behind you and there's a lion on your tail. What do? Well, you get off the carousel of life because you're obviously riding a merry-go-round. All right. And then since we're talking a little bit about riding, did you guys know I have a horse named Mayo? And Mayo neighs. There you go. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and get into it. Oh boy, here we go. Cowboys. What, going into this week, and here's the thing, here's what really sucks about being a Cowboy fan, right? They give you a little hope in the first week. The second week, they kind of scare you. And then the third week, which I have said, and I said on this show many, many times, it's not until the third week of the season do you really find out what you have. And unfortunately, for us Cowboy fans, we ain't got nothing. Or at least we ain't got no defense. No defense whatsoever. Good gracious, are we ever going to stop playing zone? First off, let me, if any of the Dallas coaches are listening right now, on the defensive side of the ball, your personnel is not made for zone. Hooker is back there looking like he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, Caleb Williams had the easiest game possibly in his career. First off, he was barely pressured ever during the whole game. And all he had to do was what Russell Wilson did the week before. Just heave the ball, throw it back. The flea flicker play that they had on offense took long enough to order DoorDash and get a pizza and eat part of it before he threw the ball. Literally. And even they showed some clips of this, and the guy saying, yeah, I threw it back to him like I was shooting a free throw. Free throws don't go fast. But I'm so bewildered by the fact that you go into this game as the Dallas Cowboys, the prior coach of the team you're playing, not a coordinator, not a former player, but the head freaking coach. Who said, even before the game, oh, I know them. I know their plays. I know their tendencies. I know everything they do. Well, apparently, you do not. Apparently, you do not. There's a reason they fired you. Because you obviously have no clue. Do I think the defensive coordinator should be fired in Dallas? Let me think about that. Yes. I mean, everybody is talking about it. You're still playing zone. Why are you playing zone? Everybody knows you're playing zone. It's just like in baseball. He's going to throw a fastball. He's going to throw a curve. Everybody knows. It's so infuriating to me that we went into this game thinking, okay, we got the prior head coach. We got an advantage in that. And then judging by the way Chicago had played in the previous week against Detroit, which everybody thought was going to be a very close game, it looked like Coach Johnson was a little out of his league. But here's the thing. It don't matter who the Cowboys are playing. And this has been a problem since Garrett was their coach. The big games, they do not seem to get up for like the fans do, like normal teams do. This game, they went into a hostile territory with the prior head coach of that team. And it was so bad, by the end of the game, you're playing your second string quarterback. Seriously? This is what everybody was afraid of at the beginning of the season. But then the Cowboys came out the gate and played the Philadelphia Eagles. And even though they lost, there was hope. Well, there is no hope now because the defense is depleted. Not so much to me in that we don't have the players like Michael Parsons, who guess who's coming to town? It's going to be the Michael Bowl, which I have some thoughts on in just a little bit. But it's a defensive disaster. And then the other side of that, why? Oh, tell me why do you put CeeDee Lamb at running back? Seriously, CeeDee Lamb at running back? I get an end around or something like that, but they literally lined him up as the back and tried to run an outside, what we used to call 28 pitch. And lo and behold, your star receiver, who's now acting as a running back, gets his ankle rolled up on, he's out 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks. So not only are you're having to play Green Bay as they're coming to town, as I say, the Micah Bowl. They're coming to town. Not only do you have to play them, you're going to play them without your star wide receiver. Pickens did pretty good, but you can't keep up when your defense can't stop another offense. And all they're doing is rearing back and throwing the ball over the top. Good God, when are you going to do something about that? 2 games, you've been embarrassed. Embarrassed. And the fact that that defensive coordinator, who was the former Chiefs or Bears coach, is still there, is just, I'm flummoxed. Totally flummoxed on that. Because I just don't get it. So, moving on to the fact that we have Micah coming into town, let me just put him, and of course, Jerry's in the news again. Well, I ain't going to do no special tribute to Micah because I don't think he deserves it. Let me tell you something, Jerry. Not that he ever listens to the show, because I would certainly piss him off because he gets on my damn nerves. You should do a tribute to Micah. Make him feel bad about coming back to Dallas. Go back to the Netflix thing. Remember Emmett? Emmett's in the visitor's locker room crying, I should be on the other side because he's connected. Well, how about do a great tribute to Micah? Do all that stuff. Make him feel bad that he's not a Cowboy anymore. Why piss him off more than he already is? And Micah says, oh, it's just another game. Bull shit. Excuse my French. Bull crap. Micah is going to come in here and try to show everybody that he was the winner in this whole thing. And what I mean by that is he's on the better team now, obviously, even though they did lose this week, but they're still a better team than the Cowboys right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So he's coming into this game, and the bullshit about it's just another game. It's just another game for me. Dak was my mentor. He's going to try to plant Dak in the freaking ground on every single play. And then he's going to look up at the stands and he's going to say, see, that's me. That's what he's going to do. Or he's going to do his little lion crawl and he's going to say, that's me. Because that's who Micah is. And it's what makes him do what he does. So as far as the Cowboys going forward, they have to figure this out. Now, everybody was like, ooh, Shoddy's really good about getting everybody up for the games and all that stuff. Well, he needs to get some of that onto the defensive side of the ball. What are the Cowboys good at right now? Well, they can kick field goals. That's it. What are we good at? We're good at kicking field goals. We can kick field goals from 64 or 65 yards. Well, let you in on a little secret. If you're kicking field goals from 64 and 65 yards out, and that's your best play, you kind of suck. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then we are going to now take a little bit of break for one of our sponsors, and we'll be back, and then we'll kind of go around the NFL and talk about the rest. So here is our sponsor, Easy Leadership.
Parents, help your student find their true path with the Berkman Career Assessment. Imagine if you had discovered your true passion right after high school. How much further along would you be in a fulfilling life? Now picture giving that gift to your student. The Berkman Career Assessment is designed to uncover the career paths that align with your student's unique personality, interests, and needs. Don't let them wander through years of uncertainty, Equip them with clarity and confidence to pursue a future where they thrive. Act now. Invest in their purpose with Berkman today at easyleadership.com or email us for a free career checkup.
All right. So yes, easyleadership.com. As we always say, you're going to invest $60,000, $70,000 a year in tuition for your kid to go to college, spend a couple $100 and learn what matches their personality so they don't call you a year later and say, you know what, this isn't what I thought it was. I think I'm going to change majors, or worse than that, drop out. So check it out at easyleadership.com. It's based on real personnel data for each one, their personality and what they choose. So getting back to go around the NFL, there were some surprises this week and some really non-surprises. I think going back to Green Bay, see how you saw this? They lost to the Browns. They lost to the Browns. The Browns. Green Bay, before they went into that game, Green Bay is the best team in the NFC. They are the ones to beat. They have the best defense. They have the best offense. Lo and behold, they go into Cleveland. And what the hell we got? Love didn't look right. Love wasn't getting no love from the Browns. So that one was a very surprising game. And, being here in Houston, I have to talk about it. Texans. Seriously. You're 0-3. The Texans coming into this year, everybody was talking about their defense as the number one. They even said it in fantasy football. Oh, take the Texans defense if you've got that your first pick for your defense in your fantasy football. I think I picked the Jaguars to win. I'm gonna let Casey, when he gets back, he can go through the picks, and we'll update that at some point this week. The picks with Pops, obviously that is me, so we'll figure all that out later. But I dropped my pencil, but that's okay. The fact that they are 0-3 right now is really, 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 really crazy to me at this point. Because if it wasn't for the Titans, who were struggling themselves, well, actually, they are in last place. They're tied with the Titans at 0-3. And who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? That the Indianapolis Colts, they are 3-0 and leading the division. And the new nickname is Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is playing out of his freaking mind right now. 3-0, and they, to me, besides my Chargers, which I'm going to get to, are the team to beat in the AFC. Just because they have found a Indiana Jones that no one thought existed anymore. Coming out of college, he was looked at as being that next Eli Manning, that he was going to do something like that. But that kind of fell off fairly quickly. So and I always say this, every year there are certain teams that just rise out of the ashes, and you're like, we didn't see that coming. And I don't think anybody saw that with Indianapolis. The fact that they are 3-0 right now, if you had said that before the season started with Jones, the quarterback, I think a lot of people would have laughed at you. The other thing, talking about some of the games this weekend, the Vikings, obviously we knew the Bengals are going to struggle because they don't have Joe Burrow back there anymore. But man, the Vikings just came in and destroyed the Bengals, 48-10. Steelers, I'm still sticking by the fact that I'm saying that this is not the Aaron Rodgers that everyone thinks they're getting when they have that name and he's quarterbacking them. Either the Patriots are really, really good for a team that's 1-2, or the Steelers are just not that good. They struggled in this game. The Patriots could have won this game, but made some critical mistakes. So I don't think, quite frankly, we know what we have with the Steelers yet. And we're just going to have to see how all that plays out. Another game, obviously the Eagles and the Rams. The Eagles just seem to do what they need to do to win. Everybody gets on Jalen Hurts, and I'm one of the first ones. You guys know I'm a Cowboy fan, so I don't like Philadelphia. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Jalen Hurts does what he's asked to do, and that's win the football game. And they are sitting at 3-0, top of the division right now. They just beat the Rams. Was the Rams' first loss, and they did it using A.J. Brown, using passing and receiving, which was something that they really hadn't used in the first two games, to be honest. It had been more Barkley and it had been more Jalen Hurts running the ball. Obviously, in the Cowboy game, that was all Jalen Hurts running the ball with a little bit of Barkley sprinkled in. So, I think the Eagles are the team, to me, still to beat. They are the defending Super Bowl champions, and I think Green Bay losing to the Browns was kind of showed that they still have a ways to go to catch up with the Eagles. And I've said it, I'm a Baker Mayfield fan, and the guy just finds a way to win. The Jets had this game won. But Baker Mayfield finds a way. Even with Mike Evans hurt, they found a way to win this game. And so Baker Mayfield, for all intents and purposes, is one of those players that I can see a lot of people getting behind in supporting him, just because he's a good guy. He's one of those guys that hasn't been able to reach the mountaintop yet, but he's a guy you can root for, and that's why I root for him, because he just finds a way to win. Colts, like I said, destroying the Titans. The Titans are a mess right now. And I feel bad. I've got some friends who are Titans fans. I feel bad for them. They are just a mess. And I'm not sure everybody thought that was going to happen. Obviously, when you have a young quarterback in there, you're going to struggle a little bit. But I think the Titans thought, based on some of the offseason moves and based off their defense, that they were going to be a little bit better. The Commanders taking down the Raiders. I'm pulling back on my prediction that the Raiders were going to win the AFC West. I said that it's going to come down to the Raiders and the Chargers. I think the Chargers are actually going to run away with that. The Chargers have they're 3-0. They beat Vegas, they beat the Chiefs, and now they beat the Broncos. And 3-0. This is Harbaugh, and we've, a lot of us have said it. Harbaugh, give him a couple of years with the team, and he's going to have them playoff caliber. And the thing about coming into the LA Chargers organization, he had a lot of pieces in place. He definitely had the quarterback in Hebert. So
the Chargers are, to me, are going to be that team. Who else is going to be? It's going to come down to the Chargers and probably the Bills. And that's kind of my prediction of how the AFC is going to play out, barring some unforsaken injury to either of those teams' star players. But going down the line here, the Saints, once again, the Saints are a mess. Seahawks looking okay, not too bad. Cardinals, I think the jury's still a little bit out on the Cardinals. They lost by 1 point to the 49ers. So if I had to pick the most surprising team to be at 3-0 right now, it's going to be the 49ers. And the reason I say that, the 49ers have lost players. Their quarterback's been fairly banged up this for the start of the year, yet they're still 3-0. And a lot of people are saying that the NFC West is the best division. I would say no, it's not. I'm going to come back to the NFC North. I think they would have some arguments with that. But once again, I think the Cardinals are a lot better than a lot of people thought they were going to be. So this is going to be an interesting race in the NFC West. The Chiefs, of course, the Chiefs had pretty much a easy game because they don't play a bunch of zone on defense like the Cowboys do. They took out the Giants pretty easily. I know there were some grumblings and things, Kelsey with his coach and all that. I don't know what's going on with Kelsey. Everybody wants to throw in all this Taylor Swift crap and all that stuff, but as a football player, Kelsey doesn't look like he's got the fire burning anymore to me when I watch this guy play. I just think that's part of the reason of what's going on is that I think he's thinking more and more about retirement, and he's not focused on the end goal like he has been in the past. In the past, Kelsey was one of those guys you knew was going to be fighting to the very end. He was going to be Mahomes' go-to guy, and I think right now he doesn't have the same fire in his belly, and maybe that'll change as the season goes on. As we know kind of how the Chiefs saga goes, they think they start off the season, and they've done it a few times, start off the season not doing so well, and everybody, the Chiefs are finally done, and then all of a sudden they remember they're the Chiefs and take over things. But I think it's a little bit different this year, or a lot different this year. It's because you have in the Chargers, definitely in the Chargers, and I would say with the Raiders and Broncos, they are a lot better than they have been in the past. The Raiders, the jury's kind of still out on that right now. And then rounding out the NFL before I move on, the Ravens are kind of surprising to me. They're sitting at 1-2, and where a lot of where just like I was saying with Baker Mayfield and his ability to find a way to win, the Ravens seem to have the opposite thing of they're winning and then they all of a sudden find a way to lose. And that's kind of how this game went. And you can't put it on just one person or one player. It's how do the Ravens find a way to lose a game where they looked really good? They're a team that has an MVP caliber quarterback. They have one of the best running backs in the league. They have great offense, a dominant defense at times, and they just seem to find a way to lose. And so it's that team is a little baffling to me. Now, on the other side of that game is the Detroit Lions. I think a lot of folks thought with Johnson leaving, with Darren Glenn leaving, with their major coordinators leaving, that Detroit was going to struggle. Well, they forgot. A lot of folks have forgot that Dan Campbell is the coach of that team, and he drives that team. And he's the one who found Johnson and Aaron Glenn in the first place. So he obviously knows what he needs, and they're setting at 2-1, and I think they're fairly set to make another run to the playoffs the way it's going. So with that, we are going to take another short break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit about WNBA before we get back into football and things later. So here's another spot from our sponsor, Easy Leadership.
Have you heard of the DISC communication tool? Yes, most people in business have. But there is a new tool out there that is tailored for leadership teams. It is called the DISC Work of Leaders and focuses on 3 main areas: vision, alignment, and execution. This amazing assessment is not just a game changer. It is a business strategy necessity if you want to create sustainability. Let's be honest, a lot of executives spend many hours in HR dealing with people issues, and that happens because of reactive leadership. If you are sitting in HR trying to figure out what happened after the fact, then you are not able to concentrate on running your department or business, and it steals your time. Email us or call. It's free to talk about it and learn how to become proactive in your leadership. Big or small, we have a plan to build on your strengths and an action plan for your challenges. Join Eddie Schedule, our CEO and founder, for a quick video on what a report does for you. Head over to our website and scroll down to see this amazing video of the DISC Work of Leaders tool. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Once again, Easy Leadership, check it out. I've seen a lot of businesses spend a lot of time spending a lot of money on retreats, and then by the time January rolls around, after they've had a retreat in November, December, nobody remembers what was taught, or they still have stickers and things like that. So check it out. Everything is based off real-time data with Easy Leadership, or give them a call. All right. So as we go forward, I know Casey doesn't like to talk about the WNBA, but just got a text here. But I wanted to live on the air right now. Okay, so what did I want to talk about in the WNBA? Well, obviously they have the playoffs going right now. The Fever advanced to play the Aces. So let me see if I can bring up the bracket here for this. But the reason I want to touch on this just a little bit, I'm not going to be going deep into it, so to speak. But the physicality of these games, and it's understanding when you watch these games that these are ladies who are damn good at the sport they play. But when you have both coaches at the end of the game, both coaches, even the winning coach from the Las Vegas Aces, even the winning coach is saying, nobody can play basketball because the refs are not stopping all the physical stuff that's going on between these players. And the bottom line is, when are they going to do something about this as far as the refs go? I mean, I get it. Maybe these refs are the ones, I don't know, maybe they couldn't make it in the NBA. So maybe they got assigned to the WNBA. But I actually think that they're probably pretty professional and they have to be pretty good to be picked to be a ref for a professional sport. This isn't, elementary school or middle school. This is a professional sport that involves a lot of money, and you have referees who won't call obvious fouls, won't call obvious flagrant fouls, and are not stopping these. Literally, it's almost like these ladies are playing football with a mix of basketball. And nobody gets called for it. And then when they do call something, they call it the wrong way. And we all see the video. We all watch it. So, WNBA, you need to do something. And here's the thing. You look at the Indiana Fever, which I'm going to tell you right now, if you watch the WNBA, they have the biggest stars. Obviously, they have Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. And these folks have brought people to the game. Like Caitlin Clark, obviously, she's been out pretty much the whole season. But people are still coming to the game. So I'm going to say in the WNBA, Indiana, because I'll watch them and root for them now to watch what's going on with them, even though their star players are out. If you had to pick the team in the WNBA, that is America's team, I'm going to pick the Fever because I got a fever for the Fever. But getting back to the point, the referees and the flow of the game, it needs to be fixed. And I don't know at what point this changed. I think we saw it when Caitlin Clark came into the league and for whatever reason, the players resented her. I guess because she obviously was getting all the attention. And so they got very physical with her. That physicality has carried over not only against the Fever, but in the entire league. To whereas it's you get into watching it because it was fun to watch, and now it's like, what's going to happen next? So right now the Aces and the Fever are tied up. It's the best out of 5, but they got to clean these games up. The ref got to start calling things the right way, and we got to get back to playing basketball and let these ladies play. They can play if you just let them play instead of this freaking tackle the person with the basketball stuff that's going on. And that's all I'm going to really talk about with the WNBA. I'm looking forward to the next game. They're playing Friday. The Fever will be taking on the Aces again. And the Aces, they're pretty good, but the Fever has already won. The series is tied up 1-1, so it's a tough matchup, and it's actually fun basketball to watch when they let them play. This last game, it was not. This last game was definitely not. All right, so with that, we are going to move on to, let's talk a little bit of Major League Baseball. We're coming down to the wire here. Coming down, October is almost upon us, and it will be here next week, barring a Armageddon type thing that goes on. But so let me address Houston. We have a problem. If it started today, Houston would be out of the playoffs, and this is going to come down to what each of these teams do in their last series. Now, Houston has a big series against the Angels. Obviously, the Angels are out of it. They're not even close. But Houston needs to win out, in my mind, to secure that spot. Now, granted, they are only one game behind the Tigers. They're only 2 games behind the Red Sox in this wild card. The Yankees have already locked up the wild card. The Mariners have already locked up their playoff spot. Blue Jays have, and the Cleveland, stupid ass name, Guardians, have won the division. Or that's what, yeah, they've won the whole thing. So, as we look at this, Houston really needs to, like I said, win out. They could possibly lose one, but the Red Sox and the Tigers, you look at both these teams, the Tigers have actually really, really struggled. So Houston has a good chance to get back in it, but they've got to stop playing 500 baseball. In other words, they win one, lose one, win one, lose one. You can't go into the playoffs, win one, lose one. So consistency right now for the Astros is a problem. And I'm not talking about the Rangers because the Rangers are out. They're gone. Bruce Bochy and the Rangers are gone. Done. So are the Royals, or the Rays, the Athletics. But the Tigers have here's the thing about the Tigers right now, which were considered, and they were one of the hottest teams for a long time. In their last 10, they are 1 of 9. They've only won 1 game. So they've actually lost seven baseball games in a row, which going into the playoffs, that's not good. That's not good for their feeling like they can do something in the playoffs. It's the Red Sox. Once again, they're playing 500 ball, just like the Astros. So what do I think is going to happen here? I think the Astros are going to figure it out. Like I said, they've got their last series is with the Angels. So very, very beatable team. The Angels have only won 1 of their last 10. So I think the Astros just got to pull it together, get good pitching, and just hold it together. And I think they can get that last wild card spot and take that away from the Detroit Tigers. But who would have thought that at the middle of the year, the beginning of the year, that the Detroit Tigers would be out of the playoffs? That's pretty amazing to me. Now, when we go down to the National League, you've got some pretty close races here for that last wild card spot. You've got the Mets are holding the Mets are holding on to that with a record of 81 wins. Diamondbacks are 1 game behind them. Cincinnati Reds are 1 game behind them, and then you've got the Cardinals, who are 3 games behind them. Cardinals probably are done, but right now, out of those teams, the Mets, Diamondbacks, and Reds, it's the Diamondbacks that are playing best ball right now. They won 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10. So that's what I think is going to happen. Is I think the Mets are probably going to be out of it, but it's going to come down to the Diamondbacks and the Mets, even though the Reds may have something to say about that. The great thing is my Padres are in there. They've secured their spot. They are in the playoffs. So that should be a great thing for them, obviously. But, there's some really good teams in the National League with the Brewers and the Phillies, obviously. Giving a little love to our Philly fans, our Philly show. So it's going to be something. I think a lot of folks thought the Dodgers were going to be one of those teams with a lot better record than they've had. But to their credit, they are back in the playoffs. They've secured their spot. Now you got the Cubs back in. You've got going back to the American League, as I said before, Yankees, Guardians, Mariners, and the Jays as they go going into October. So Houston, get your stuff together, stay strong, stay consistent, and get in there. I would love to see the Astros make that move and knock the Tigers out, which, like I said, is going to be a big surprise for a lot of folks, knocking them out. All right. So that's pretty much it on the WNBA and Major League Baseball. We're obviously going to have a lot more on Major League Baseball as we go into October. But we're still, the main thing right now is those wild card races, who's in and who's out. So with that, we're going to take another break and we'll come on back and kind of finish out the show. We're going to talk a little college football. There are some key matchups this weekend. The standings are a little bit different this week. And then we'll talk a little bit about making the most of your moment and then kind of close out the show. But here is some more from Easy Leadership.
Attention leaders planning your 2025 leadership retreat. Are you about to throw $30,000 to $40,000 out the door on flashy speakers and trendy activities that lose impact in 2 months? Don't waste your budget on short-lived inspiration. Partner with Easy Leadership and harness the DISC work of leaders to gain real data insights into your company's real-world issues. We'll uncover your team's strengths and tackle critical challenges in vision, alignment, and execution, creating a strategic action plan that drives lasting, measurable results. Act now. Contact Easy Leadership at easyleadership.com to invest in leadership that transforms your organization for the long haul.
All right. Well, there you go. I forgot that was a 30-second spot. I was just, okay, we are back. So now, we're going to talk a little bit about collegiate ranks, talk a little bit about college football. So let's talk a little bit about the rankings. Hey, Giggle. Sorry there, Longhorns. You have dropped behind the Aggies, which I think it's only fair because you are the only team in the top 10 that has lost a game. Granted, it was against Ohio State, but I still think if you've got all these teams that are undefeated, because there's a lot of teams that can make an argument they should be ahead of Texas right now. And that could be Indiana, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Iowa State, because they are all setting at 4-0. Now, I agree with it. It's strength of schedule and all that. But yes, Texas has dropped 2 spots down to 10. A&M has moved up from 10 to number 9. We still have Ohio State at number 1. But Miami, went to Miami. Canes jumped up 2 spots ahead of Penn State and LSU to the number 2 spot. They are setting at 4-0. And now you have Penn State at 3, LSU at 4, Georgia at 5. Any surprises there for me? No, not really. I do think Oregon isn't getting enough love. I think Oregon is a lot better than folks may have thought they were going to be this year, just based on different factors. But I think the top 10, it looks pretty well laid out. I don't, like I said, we've got a lot of 4-0 teams that are sitting outside the top 10 that you could probably make an argument that they should be up there. That's the AP poll. The coaches poll is a little bit different. They still have Penn State at number 2. They have Georgia at number 3. LSU at number 4. And then it gets pretty close, except what's kind of weird to me is the fact that Miami is 6th in the coaches poll. So, but like I said, the AP poll is what most people go off of. But what I want to touch on as we go forward is the the games coming up this weekend, and there's actually some pretty good games tomorrow night. You've got Army tonight against East Carolina. Army should win that easily. Yeah, because ECU is minus 4.5 in the spread. Friday night, you've got Florida State, which is number 8 against Virginia. You got TCU 24 against Arizona State, and then you got the Cougs in Houston playing Oregon State. So got some pretty good games to watch on Friday night. But then we get into Saturday, and what we're looking for here is the top 25 good games to watch. You've got USC taking on Illinois, 21 versus 23. That's on one of the earlier games on Saturday. I think this is going to say a lot for Illinois because they really need to win this game to stay, to me, relevant. Because as I said before, I didn't think Illinois was a team that a lot of people were talking about. But if they can win this game, especially since it's at home, they'll not only knock USC out of the top 25, but I think they'll show that they are forced to be reckoned with. Do I think they're going to make playoffs? Obviously not. But then you've got Notre Dame. Notre Dame is really struggling right now. They're taking on a team that's not ranked, but they're going into Fayetteville in Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. That's not an easy place to play. Once again, that's an early game that's going to be on ABC if you want to watch it. But that to me is really kind of scary for Notre Dame because Arkansas is really good at home, and we're just going to have to see how this plays out for Notre Dame. I think everybody is extremely surprised that Notre Dame is sitting at 1-2 right now, when they were looked at as being, one of those teams that's going to be in the playoffs and fighting for a championship. So who's going to win this game? To me, it's a tough line here. It's minus 4.5 Notre Dame. I don't know. This is really going to tell us who Notre Dame is because, like I said, Arkansas is not an easy place to play. But let's move on down the line here. Ohio State's got Washington, not a big deal. So we get to one of the games that will be very interesting in the afternoon games. LSU, number 4 LSU is playing number 13 Ole Miss. And Ole Miss has looked very good. Ole Miss is 4-0. LSU is 4-0. Someone's going to leave out of here at 4-1. And I think it's going to be more devastating for LSU to lose this game than it will be Ole Miss. But Ole Miss is showing that they are a force to be reckoned with. And they are playing in Oxford. So LSU is going to have their hands full. The other game, obviously, is my Aggies are playing Auburn. Auburn's got to come to town. And once again, we've seen this with the A&M, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't happen, is that they've done really well coming out the gate. And quite frankly, this has nothing to do with coach. They've done very well coming out of the gate numerous years and then messed it up somehow. So a lot of us Aggie fans are a little nervous, even though we know They are playing a lot better football. We have a great quarterback. So I really want the Aggies to make this a statement game and take down Auburn. Auburn's not ranked, but Auburn is still a very good football team. So that one will be in the afternoon. That's going to be on ESPN for those of you who want to watch it. But then we get down, we got to go down in the day. And then you're going to have to figure out which game you're going to watch. A lot of people are going to be going back and forth because number 6 Oregon taking on number 3 Penn State. This is going to have a lot of ramifications for either of those teams because Oregon needs to win this game to not only move into the top 5, but to prove that they are for real. Penn State needs to win this game to prove that they're still one of the contenders for the national championship. So that's going to be a great game. You've got high-flying offense on Oregon's side. You've got, I'm going to beat you down with Penn State running the football in their side. And then at the same time, you're going to be switching over and back and forth in these games. I know I will, or I'll have multiple screens on, is Georgia and Alabama. Alabama, once again, needs to prove that they are Alabama, right? So where is Alabama? I have lost the record. They are 2-1. That's right. They're 2-1. Taking on Georgia, which obviously is number 5 in the country. This is going to be an interesting game. I do think Georgia pulls this game out because they're playing in Athens. So I think Georgia wins this game, and unfortunately for Alabama, they'll be at 2-2. They'll be lucky if they stay in the top 25. If they lose this game badly, if they lose by more than 1 touchdown. So you've got the late games, 6:30 p.m. Between Oregon and Penn State, and then Alabama and Georgia. Those are really the big ones for this weekend in college football. All right, so moving right along, we are going to kind of start to finish out. Obviously, I don't have the remix in here to argue with, so it goes a lot faster. But making the most of your moment is what I'm going to show you. This clip is actually courtesy of ABC 13 out of Rockford, Minnesota. It's actually been around for a while. This is actually 3 years old. I have to share the screen. And this one was always kind of funny to me because it is making the most of their moment. When this is Rockford High School in Rockford, Minnesota. Rockford, Minnesota. Yeah. I hope I said that right. But hits a half-court buzzer beater. But I want you to watch it afterward because he literally knows he's going to be mobbed and he kind of runs away. And one poor kid, as the group is running away, gets trampled or gets just told, he's like, yeah, and then boom, gets knocked to the ground. But let's go ahead and watch the clip. Like I said, this is courtesy of ABC 13 and YouTube that called this game. So here we go. The block, the shot, and boom, there it goes. Number 14. Everybody's trying to congratulate him. He's like running away. Up, and there goes the kid, gets knocked down. He's out. Number 14 is out and out the locker room, including the whole Arena. There you go, folks. All right. Like I said, that was courtesy of ABC 13. And Michigan. I'm saying Minnesota. It's Rockford, Michigan. I apologize there, Rockford High School. That is ABC 13 out of Michigan. And that is Rockford High School in Rockford, Michigan. So hopefully now we got that straight. And now where'd my day? There we go. Instead of me covering up the whole thing there. So that's the making the most of your moment. Before I get to the whiskey of the week, because I did bring a whiskey of the week, I am going to throw it up here. The sports pet peeves. Let me move myself out the way so you can see it. Sports pet peeves. Oh. The NFL is doing it again, folks. We have a game that is at 8:30 a.m. Central Time between the Vikings and Steelers. And it's in Dublin, Ireland. Dublin, freaking Ireland. They are playing NFL football. First off, it's a Sunday. Now, granted, a lot of us get up for church and we're already up and going. But I got to go to church during that time. A lot of us do. And it's in Ireland. So my question, and why is this a pet peeve to me? Because there are Vikings fans and there are Steelers fans who can't go to this game. But mostly Steelers fans. Because this would have been a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steeltown, Pittsburgh. And you're taking them over to bloody Ireland. With the Lucky Charms or whatever it is. To Ireland. Nobody knows American football in Ireland. Are you kidding me? Stop this. This is all about a money grab. That's all this is. And it's a bunch of malarkey. To use an Ireland term, it's a bunch of malarkey. Because no one cares. But my thing is, even if you're for this, my problem is they're taking a home game away from those fans who it's already a pain in the ass to be able to afford a game. You can't afford a game. You can afford maybe a game. But if you want to take a family of 4 to an NFL game, you're going to have to use a whole month's worth of paycheck. That's if you're making decent money. But now we're going to Ireland. And you know who's going to get to go? The players' families and all the rich people. The people who have the money to already go to the games. They're going to fly over there and watch it. And then you're going to have a bunch of people in Ireland who are just going there because they're promised cheap beer or something. Not to pick on Ireland being drinkers, but I've been to Ireland and they can drink. So it's just, once again, it's ridiculous to me about that. So, all right. So let's come on back. We get rid of the sports pet peeves and go to our regular thing. There we go. All right. So where's my ticket? Okay, it's still there. So I'm going to finish out. He usually has whiskey of the week. This one here, it's Austin 85. Obviously, the bottle is pretty much empty. That's how good it was. But Austin 85 Light Whiskey, it's made here in Texas. So check that out. If you see it in the liquor store, but drink responsibly. Obviously, we want you to always drink responsibly. But that is going to conclude the show. I appreciate those who did stick around and hung out with me by my lonesome. Hopefully, Remix will feel better later, and then he can, take care of things and come on back in here so I have someone to argue with. But let me just finish out. Yeah, I'm not doing any picks because he's not here to do the picks. Let me just finish out with a couple tidbits on the Cowboys need to figure something out on defense going into this game against Green Bay, because to me, it's the Micah Bowl. Micah is going to come in here and he can say all the things he wants to say, but he's going to come in here wanting to prove a point. And unfortunately, I think Dak may be on the receiving end of that. But the defense on the Cowboys, they've got to figure this out. If they get beat up top again for even one play, and their defensive coordinator is not fired by Monday morning, then it's I don't know what to say. I really don't. I don't know what to say about that. You've got some good games this weekend. You've got the Eagles playing the Buccaneers. It's definitely a game to watch. They are at the noontime on Sunday. That's going to be a very interesting game. And that would be one that I actually think the Eagles may lose, just because Baker Mayfield is finding a way to win, and the Eagles are obviously going to Tampa Bay to play that game. The Colts are playing the Rams. Unfortunately, I think the Rams are going to end up at 2-2 because I don't think they're going to beat the Colts. Jaguars may move to 3-1, beating up on the 49ers. I think the Chiefs are going to move to 1-3 because they've got to play the Ravens, and the Ravens are usually pretty good after a loss. And both those teams are really needing to win that game because one of them will walk away at 1-3, which is really tough to get to the playoffs if you're at 1-3. Bears playing the Raiders, same thing. Both teams at 1-2. I do think the Raiders pull that out. Packers and Cowboys. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, as I think the Green Bay is going to win that game. You've got the battle of the bottom of the buckets on Monday night with the Jets and Dolphins, both at 0-3. I think the Dolphins win that game just because of what they showed against Buffalo last Thursday. And then Bengals and Broncos. Broncos should win that easily and move to 2-2, and the Bengals will move to 2-2. So that is the show. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for joining me and watching. Hopefully you had a little bit of fun, even though the remix isn't here. But next week we'll be back on at Wednesday at 7:00. So until then, keep reaching for, I could do Casey Kasem, keep reaching for the stars. But no, may God be with you. Make it a great week, and hope everyone has a blessed week. Thank you, and we will catch you next week.